The sand is wet. Bronze flashes in the gloom. A roar shakes the stone. Heat presses against skin. Somewhere in this dark, airless maze, a man's worth will be decided in the way he dies. It began before the crowd's first cheer, before horns split the morning air. In yards hidden from the streets, two lines of men waited, one restless, one still. In the first stood Gaius, broad-shouldered, ribs bound from an old wound, eyes fixed on the ground. He had walked this path too many times to count, every step measured, every breath rationed. His knuckles were calloused knots, his stance coiled like a spring. In the second line was a boy, 17 at most, still carrying the dust of some conquered hill town. His gaze darted from face to face, hunting for something familiar in a place that had none. Some here had been captured in wars they hadn't chosen. Others were thieves, rebels, condemned without mercy. And a few, perhaps the most tragic, had never known freedom at all, born into chains, sold before they could walk. What awaited them wasn't a contest, it was an equation. Bodies in, bodies out. The numbers never favored the fighter, because here, the sand never had enough blood. The air was thick with oil and iron, oil to hide fatigue on skin stretched tight over muscle, iron worn smooth from endless grips, cutting into palms hardened by years, and beneath both, something no raking could erase, the sour tang of blood that had seeped in long before. The lanista, the man who owned them, paced like a farmer judging livestock. He knew who could bring coin, and who could be fed to the crowd for a brief thrill. His voice could grant another month of breath, or cut it off before noon. He answered only to the hunger above. That hunger came from a city that could forget famine for the price of a ticket. Bread was cheap, blood was cheaper. Gaius kept his eyes down. He knew better than to meet the lanista's gaze. The boy beside him didn't. The lanista stopped, studied him, then moved on without a word. That silence wasn't mercy, it was calculation. The road to the sand was paved with blisters, bruises, and nights that bled into dawn. Meals measured in strength, not taste. Barley porridge, beans, stale bread, sleep stolen in fragments, broken by the crack of drills. Wooden swords slammed into flesh hard enough to tear muscle. Outside, merchants traded olives and figs. Inside, men lost their names, replaced with numbers burned or inked into skin. Stock, kept alive only while profitable. Yet hope lingered, whispers that a man could fight so well the crowd might demand his freedom, that the right patron could spare him. But hope was a knife with two edges. For every man freed, a dozen more were swallowed. In the holding cells beneath the arena, heat pooled thick in the lungs. Men pressed shoulder to shoulder, each breath stolen from another. Above them, the crowd was one restless animal, its roar constant. The gate ahead was a slit of light. The sound swelled until it stole the air from the tunnels. Some prayed to Mars, others to gods who had no temples here. The veterans prayed to no one. They already knew the blinding sun, the gasp of the crowd when a blow went wrong, the smell of a man's last breath. The boy whispered, "What happens first?" Gaius didn't answer, because the first thing was always the same, fear. Above, the arena gleamed in cruel beauty, sand smoothed to hide what lay beneath, silk awnings shading the wealthy, fingers tracing golden cups. From a distance, a festival. Up close, a blade to the throat. No one knew what orders would bring, one against one, or one against three. Sometimes, cages opened first, starving beasts lunging at men meant to fight later. The rules were whatever the sponsor willed. His whim could be mercy or murder, and whims change fast. It was not always steel against steel. Nets that tangled, tridents that punched through ribs, curved blades that severed tendons so a man collapsed, unable to rise, a heavy helmet that turned each breath into boiling air, or a light fighter darting like a snake, waiting for the moment to strike. Each match balanced like a trap until it wasn't, and when it tipped, the victor didn't decide the loser's fate. The crowd did. If they cried, "Mitta, let him go," he might live. If they roared, "Iugula, kill him," his death was almost certain. The sponsor's hand gave the final signal, but few defied tens of thousands of voices. They didn't love the victory. They loved the heartbeat before the killing blow. In the tunnels, torchlight flickered over stone streaked with stains. Slaves moved silently, dragging the fallen away, leaving red trails in the dust. Cages rattled. Lions paced inside, eyes catching the light, burning gold in the dark. For some, the beasts would be the first and last thing they faced. Bestiari, odds like a gambler's dream, impossibly thin. Some held spears, others only torches, a few nothing. The animals came half-starved, their rage sharpened by thirst and the lash. They did not kill quickly. The boy's hands shook. "Is that for today?" "No," Gaius said, then paused. "Not for you." The boy exhaled. Gaius didn't tell him the truth. The match list could change in a breath. Here, even fate was for sale. Above, the crowd screamed louder. To them, it was exotic, a mosaic of fang and blood. To those in the tunnels, it was execution with applause. Then came the Noxi, the condemned, prisoners, rebels, the already dead. They weren't meant to survive, burned alive, crucified under the sun, torn apart in scenes from myth, Hercules in flames, Orpheus ripped by beasts, Prometheus chained for vultures. The crowd didn't just watch, they joined in, shouting lines, throwing scraps of bread. Suffering wasn't tragedy, it was part of the show, and Rome loved a show. Behind the gates, the cycle never stopped. Wounds were stitched not for compassion, but to send a man back before his value faded. Outside the arena, children fought with wooden swords, shouting famous names. Merchants sold clay figures of men still breathing. Poets compared their movements to gods, but fame burned fast. A career ended with a snap of tendon or rib. The city forgot. The games were more than entertainment. They were a weapon. A set of games could calm unrest, mask famine, distract from war. The emperor knew this. His arrival was thunder in stone. He came not to watch, but to rule. Over time, the scale grew monstrous. The Colosseum's belly was a machine, lifts for beasts, trapdoors underfoot, floors that could flood for mock naval battles. Genius bent to cruelty. Sometimes, the machine broke. In Pompeii, a riot turned fighters on the crowd, weapons flashing in the seats, games banned for years, but mostly, the machinery never stopped. Even survivors carried ruin, empty eyes, twisted limbs, wounds that never healed. Some couldn't stay away, drawn by the roar that almost killed them. Others had no choice. Survival was their only skill, and Rome had no place for men who could not feed its hunger. The boy's name was called, not Gaius's. The younger man looked at him, waiting for words. Gaius just gripped his shoulder, hard enough to leave a mark, and stepped back into shadow. The gate lifted. The boy walked into a wall of light and noise. Gaius watched from the dark as the crowd leaned forward, already tasting the moment. And behind their cheers, the truth whispered. Not every fight was real. Matches fixed, victories bought, men sent in sick, half-starved, or with reopened wounds to please a patron. The illusion of honor was just another act. This was never about courage, never about sport, never about glory. It was about hunger, a hunger that could consume men, cities, even empires. And in this place, hunger was the only thing that never died.